Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Comment down below if you would like me to bring back any what ifs from the past, or any what ifs you would like to see brought back. This is Deku would be gold, or technically, normal for now. Nah, no, they're born shinies, right? Yeah, they're born shinies. So he would be born, yellow. And the thing is, Inko would inevitably bring him into Hisashi, and you know how Hisashi is. He gotta go get some milk real quick. I will say there wouldn't really be a reason for Hisashi to actually stick around. I mean, realistically, there isn't anything left for him to stay, nor, leave. But for reasons, I'll have him, go get some milk, practically. Yeah. So, as a child, Deku would look like a Ryu, I think it was called. Let me go get my book. The Book of Enhancements, I seek. Riolu, I'm pretty sure. Riolu. Where are the R's in this book? As there will be. Yeah, I was correct, Riolu. It is Riolu. Deku would be born a Riolu. He would naturally wouldn't have much plasma at the beginning of his life. And for reasons, I would say he would be able to, since he is a shiny, he is a bit powerful than, others like him. So he still has psychic attacks, physical attacks. Yeah, those are like the only attack types he actually has, which is like psychic and normal attacks, and a couple of steel attacks, I believe. He's able to control a bit of attacks, since he is, one of those Pokemon that have a right range of abilities. Kind of just got forgotten a while, since, no one's really made a movie about them or had them in the show for a bit, so yeah. As Midoriya, he would feel outcasted for multiple reasons. He wouldn't know why, it's just this feeling. He would feel that something just doesn't feel right with him, being amongst people. Of course, though, there are a lot of different things that can actually happen. Okay, so it hasn't yet. Okay. So, realistically, in the shows, it's still a psychic, but yet, when it comes to filters, it is steel. Congrats, I'm fixing the update on fucking Wikipedia. Congrats. He's psychic as well. And nobody has noticed, he's able to use psychic moves. So and pretty sure there's literally a movie just about him using psychic moves. Like, bruh. So it'll be technically fighting steel and psychic. Get out of here with that. I've watched too much Pokemon movies. Nah, they just did my buddy dirty, bro. Nah. If you're all wondering what I'm talking about, there was this Lucario movie, very well done. It had something to do with the Lucario's past. or at least a portion of its loyalty and whatnot, representing the personality of one. Of course, if it kind of was outcasted, either outcasted or just didn't like humans. And inevitably, Ash was also in it, so I mean, yeah. Of course, Ash did his Takano Jitsu, so yeah. We all know how that went out. Here we go. He's able to use a couple abilities. Poison. Oh wait, no, that's Dragon. Dragon, Steel, Fighting, Psychic, Ground, Water. Yeah, he has a large sum of abilities. I believe about 60. No, hold up. 1, 2, yeah, about 30 abilities. Sorry, cut that in half. It'll be about 30 abilities. And the main abilities will be Bite, Bullet Punch, Circle, Throw, Cross Chop, Detect, High Jump Kick, Howl, Mind Reader, and Vacuum Wave. Or those are just the egg moves, realistically. But, we gotta go realistic here. Oh, he actually has more than 30 moves. Yeah. This dude has like an entire artillery of just moves. This dude's gonna be overpowered. So yeah, he's able to use like practically, from what I'm saying, he's able to use like at least some portion of like every type of element practically. So yeah, I will give him telepathy, so he wouldn't really physically talk, but he would kind of do it telepathically. I forgot how you say it, but you know what I mean. At the time, I was only a kid. I didn't know any better. Of course, though, being bullied by how I look was a bit off. I felt like you shouldn't judge people from the way they look, but their personality. But they didn't care about that, did they? They only cared for power. I was disgusted by what people seen in these. Bakugo never got in trouble, though. The principal and the teachers always had his back, even if he was doing the worst to others. There was always a bias when it came to Bakugo and someone else getting in trouble. There was always that other person getting in trouble. Bakugo never even got a slap on the wrist. My mother was very strict, yes, but she did teach me a lot of things. Loyalty, trust, to tell the difference between heroes and villains. Of course, at a young age, I never was a chatter person for talking. So I only studied on philosophy and whatnot as a child. Very weird books, you would say, a child should be reading, but at the same time, I was a normal person, was I? All I really did was just read. I read upon books about many things, history, things that make heroes heroes. Each hero has their own philosophy, but nowadays I don't see any of that. They just use it for the entertainment. All Might is no better. Everyone has their downfalls, and All Might's downfall. Due to him being the number one, the civilization hides it. The amount of destruction, the radius of the destruction he makes while fighting heroes is immense. They back it off, and I'm pretty sure it caused a couple deaths while All Might fights. The radius of his punches and just power in general. He's able to destroy entire blocks and have no circumstances of karma, nor punishment. Even if it has people's deaths. And the worst part is, those are people with low-class quirks, which make it worse. This inevitably got me at my toes. I saw that everyone has a downfall. They have a rise and downfall. Good and evil. Everyone has their good and bad about themselves. No one's perfect in this world. There are only those who match the circumstances. And I noticed there's only 10 things you need in this world to actually be seen as a decent person in my eyes. But I leveled them down to 5. Loyalty, respect, the way they treat people, not mattering on what they are, or how, or what quirk they have. 3. 4. How they view the world, and what their reactions are, what they think about society. And 5. Do they see the truth, or are they also blinded by society as it is? Do they see what I see, or do they see the darkness and the corrupt civilization that I've seen now? For what I can tell, even on my own chart and my 5 stars, there's no bias. I do realize when I made the 10-star rating, there was a lot of biases, but to make it easier for others to understand, I just made it a 5 stars. 5 stars, those who understand, similar to me, but have their own agendas. I don't care about the personality, as long as they solve these 5 stars, they're good in my book. Doesn't mean I'll talk to them, but they're good in my book. Of course, though, me myself, I've seen the teachings of civilization very corrupt, including Bakugo Katsuki. It enraged me over the years, being bullied. Just outstanding. Of course, though, I never really standed around. I fought back, of course. Well, was I supposed to let him give me 2-degree burns? No, I'm good. That would be a hassle for my mother. And I would not have that at all. So I've decided to fight back and train fighting styles. After I trained myself in martial arts, I would work towards my own quirk. I didn't know what my quirk was, but it seemed to be some type of mutation. It made me faster than others. Very fast. Not just that, but it gave me this just feeling of, what was the word? Adrenaline. Every time I was focused, it gave me this adrenaline rush, as in for battle or something. And so, the only reason I went to school, realistically, was to get everything out the way. Of course, that was until the sludge villain. Everything was fine. Happy day, happy life, relaxing. I was just getting home when I saw that the door was locked. And that my mother wasn't there to open it. She's usually, at this time, already here. So, I got the keys from under the mat and just thought, she probably just went to go shopping with Mitsuki and didn't tell me. Of course, though, it was the beginning of middle school when it did happen. Or at least about the end, or near the end of middle school. Nah, actually, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure I was in the middle of the middle school. I was about, 13-ish? About. 14, birthday coming up. I opened the door and still saw no one. It was weird. I saw, I did recognize something within Bakugo did grow more aggressive. I didn't know what it was, though. Inevitably, one day I just looked on the news and saw a green-haired individual attacked by a sludge villain. Attacked, and a blonde-headed kid tried to save her, ended up injuring her in the process of retrieval. When I saw this on the news, I panicked. Not just that, but the rage inside of me. The anger that stirred up like a syrup. Like a sweet taste of vengeance. Or just pleasure. The anger that I've gained was just anger, pure anger. Knowing that I knew where my mom was, but at the same time, at what cost? I rushed to the hospital that same day. No one told me about anything. Mitsuki, no one. I'm guessing they just presumed I knew already. Inevitably, I did watch and go to the hospital, as I saw Mitsuki and Bakugo there. Bakugo being himself and just abnormally being quiet, surprisingly. Mitsuki not having a disappointed face, but you can do better face. I was confused on what happened. Of course, this was hours ago. Or more like 2 days have passed since then. When I entered the room, my eyes went white as a ghost. My mother was on life support. And even so, she only had a couple minutes to live. They did their best, but they couldn't save them. Even so, I was only able to see them, or see through the window, as I only saw her face, slim, but nothing there. As Mitsuki would hug me and say sorry, apologizing for what Bakugo did. And next day, all that people would talk about was that how Bakugo would have attacked and eventually got out the sludge villain. Or would have defeated the sludge villain with help of heroes. or more lines, practically. He would have gotten out the sludge villain. The sludge villain would have had a bit. What was it? It would All Might would have shown up. Yes. After finding where the sludge villain went, All Might would have, lost track of time, and inevitably, the mother was killed. As inevitably, the number 2 hero had to step in and stop the scenario. Bakugo was praised that day. A lot of people did. But no one saw the downfall and what happened. All they saw is that he took down the sludge villain with the help of a hero. And what I saw was the truth. Doesn't matter who dies, people will praise you just due to the stupidity of the society they call heroism. In fact, I'm pretty sure if it wasn't for his quirk, flashy quirk, they would have practically judged him of vigilantism. But no. They wanted to praise him for killing a person, nearly killing a person, and having the sludge villain deal the final blow. Clogging up the lungs to not breathe. And inevitably, you can know what happened there. I stepped out of the school for a bit. I went online for schooling. Never talked to Bakugo that day since. Nor any hero of that matter. I got my hero education online a lot more earlier. Instead of going to, these so-called hero schools. It was stupid, I swear. I could have attacked him right in the hospital. But I didn't. Unlike Bakugo Katsuki, I have self-control. Yes, it did take a couple therapies, about 10 therapies, to calm me down. 10 separate therapists, all in the same day, separate time. How do you say, traumatizing. The depression. Everything that came after a family member was, dead. I was traumatized. But the more thing that made me more angry is that no one punished Katsuki. No one. So I forgot about them. Of course, my size was still small. I was still pretty small as a kid. In fact, I'm pretty sure I was one of the shortest in my class. About a decent amount height. Never changed anything, though. Just had people call me short. All the short damn jokes that you can make in a lifetime. Me being short, the way of my mutation, my quirk, everything. I hated it with a passion. So you know what I decided? I decided this society's no longer of my judgment. I decided not to do anything, honestly. I was 2'4". I was extremely short at the time. And even so, even in middle school, I was pretty short. For some reason, my body doesn't grow. It was weird. They maybe thought it was some sort of quirk mutation that had to deal with my height. Being 2'4". It was just, 2 feet 4 inches. It was very, how you can say, people like to pick me up and kind of throw me like a basketball. Throw me, people throwing me, people, a person, everything, just... Of course, though, I inevitably kind of just got a hood, a yellow hood I made, or more of line my mother made. I just fixed it up. It was her early birthday gift. The thing that made me more happy is that it said, "Dear Ziggo, happy birthday. I may not be home. I have work to do, so I may not be home for your birthday, but here. I made you this, so hopefully you can understand and accept my gift." I accepted it alright, with all love, of course. So people usually mocked me for being a younger age than I actually am, realistically. I was mad and furious. But at the same time, there was something there that was weird. Something within myself wanted to break free, but I don't know what it was. As I looked and I trained as much as possible to hopefully get some sort of anger out. Inevitably, it was a daily thing, boxing and everything. I started to fight, or just train in general, to get my frustrations out on the world. I took boxing matches and other things like that with the money I can at least get from a small or low-class job. Inevitably, I didn't have enough money to go to things anymore. I had no money. So what I did was a bit risky, but it was worth it. I went to underground fighting rings and started fighting there. The anger. There are no rules, so there's no one to tell me to stop. The people it was just infuriating. Them just telling me to stop just because I've defeated their best fighter, or was about to defeat their best fighter. It was annoying. So I went to underground, started fighting there. My first day of fighting was, how would you say, not very pleasant. Of course, cops came. Someone would have snitched, or underground police officer would have found the base out, and practically half of us, or, everyone kind of scattered everywhere. Quirks going off everywhere. People just trying to scatter as police surrounded the place. A lot of people got away by using tunnels, but at the same time, a portion of them didn't. And inevitably, I was one of the sad people that got caught. And that's why I'm here, officer. Kid, due to your truthfulness and voice and other things that can happen, I'll allow you to walk free. But this is a warning, though. Stay away, and I mean it. Next time, I won't be able to help you. You're a pretty young kid. You have your entire life ahead of you. So stay out of trouble, kid, okay? As a small Midoriya, nearly not even 3 feet, but 2 foot and 4 inches, would be sitting in a chair. Yes, officer. Understood. Inevitably Midoriya walking out of the police station, out of police custody, Midoriya needed something. He needed a look. So, he wore the hood, of course. He never described the hood, though. He only said it was a normal hood. Due to reasons. So he just walked down as people just, as normal, do whatever they wanted and just continued on. So what I decided to do, instead of, how do you say, being a smart person, or a Midoriya would inevitably fight again, or just become a vigilante. Inevitably. And inevitably he would be invited to a new fighting ring. One that's kind of covered by the Yakuza, in fact. I was excited, not gonna lie. He was excited. So he figured out that if he was able to fight again, he would be able to get stronger. And inevitably he did meet someone. But they weren't really friends, you can say. They were more of co-workers, if you will. He had about 3 jobs. One was at a music store, the other one was at a dojo, and the third one was kind of just, a bakery, you can say. He had 3 jobs. And they all paid decently, honestly. But of course, to keep the bills intact, especially at a young age he was at, he got, surprisingly, the bakery respected him a lot. A person named Soji was helped him out. Same with 2 others. A person called Kyoko Jiro and a person called Ojiro. They helped him out and whatnot in the job. They were more of co-workers, if you see, but Midoriya saw them as unique. Shoji, he wanted to go to UA. Same with everyone else. The difference is that he wanted to become a hero just to have people smile. Or just to become a hero just for a hero. He just wanted to help people just to be nice. Which realistically, I would have answered, is there any reason? But realistically nowadays, true people don't need reasons to become heroes. They do it just because it's right. Of course, Ojiro with the same thing. He wanted to become a hero as well. And Jiro was a bit different. She was conflicted on her working status. She wanted to become, an artist, but inevitably, she had to become a hero. Or she wanted to become a hero, but at the same time she wanted to take up the business. The singing business. So I helped her. If you feel conflicted, just pick a job. And if you don't like one of them, just, you got the other one to back you up. As I just give, advice to people. Those who actually deserve my advice. Those who refuse to listen do not deserve my advice. As inevitably, I was dragged in, I guess. Even though I already had my license, it was annoying. It was 15 about. It was the end of the year. You know how it is. Summer vacation. Midoriya would be very frustrated on what to do now. Like, he wanted to do something with his life. He didn't just want to work 3 jobs. Like, yes, they're fun, and he had friends in each job, but He wanted to do more. And after 5 years in the underground, because I'll say UA is a college. Yeah. So 5 years later, yes, making him 20. So yes. If you're wondering, either like about 18 or 20. So yes. Wait, I'm on like 2 things. Yeah, I'll say about 20. Yeah, that'd be like the decent age, about 20. Like 19, 20-ish. Yeah, I'll say he's 20. Of course, though, I still kept I was still short, even after all these years. I don't know how I was short. It just appeared. And now we go within those 5 years, because if you thought I was going to skip 5 years, you are clearly mistaken. Within those 5 years, he would be, you know, in underground boxing. You know, fighting people that, you know, can't, you know, training purposes. Midoriya used it as a way to get experience, he would say, on fighting. So he knows what to expect, or at least get a decent margin of what people can do in the world. He fought quirks, fire quirks, wind quirks, dragon quirks, just normal to high amount of quirks. Each of them were unique, though. I'll say he'll be like 16 now. Inevitably, out of an entire year of trying to change my mind, I finally decided to go to UA. Of course, Jiro was very persuasive, you can say. Same with Soji. He said if I went to UA and actually made it, he would make me something special. Which, it's food. I mean, who would refuse food? Especially made by Soji. Soji was like, when it came to food, he was like my best friend, practically. There's no debate on he has one of the best foods in the city. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's in the top 5 when it comes to the entire city of Hosu. Of course, though, I refused. Also, if you're wondering, this version of Midoriya is a bit older, if you're wondering. So, yes. Of course, though, I inevitably did unlock something. This was during a fight, though. Or more of, you know, going out in the city, inevitably finding a friend out. Or just, you know, a normal person out. It was Jiro. She, you know, she was just walking, and the group of thugs, you know, wanted to, do unpleasant things to them. At the time, these 10 months were weird. I don't know, something within me was just cracking. I didn't understand what it was. It was just cracking a shell of some sort. My punches became more fierce, you would say. I had to hold back more and more. Of course, though, something within my body, it was hard to explain. The adrenaline in my body increased. I could not stay still, either this being ADHD or something else entirely. Of course, though, I was just walking, realistically. Walking by, you know, I was just texting Soji on, like, what snacks he can make me for, like, the UA entrance exam or something. Realistically, I was in those snack moments where I was really hungry. So, yeah, I was desperate for food. Soji. Myself, I didn't really know how to cook. But, you know, I had a friend to do that, so, I mean, I paid him. He gave me food. But since, you know, we were friends, I kind of got the food for free. So, yeah. Pretty good food. Especially the 3 leches. I don't know what it was, but it was just, delicious. The 3 leches. It was either some type of Puerto Rican or Hispanic meal. It was just delicious. Soji didn't just go for one variety of foods. He went for many religious foods. It was delicious. And it was enough of that. Yes, now I looked out from my phone. That's weird. What's that? As I just, saw someone being muffled noises. I saw muffled noises. Someone with some type of bandage quirk, I guess. Or some type of mummy quirk, restraining quirk. The other one was like, what? The fire user? The other one was some type of strength enhancement. It was... something within me, I don't know. Something blanked out. I don't know what's up with it, but when someone of my friend group is in trouble, I don't know, I just blanked out. Like, I just fainted or something. Like, everything just went black. And then, out of nowhere, I just woke up in, like, this darkness, this rage. I woke up and I was at, Jiro's house. I don't know how or when, but I was just there. Midoriya being at Jiro's house would be very awkward. She traumatized at the event of, almost, and, immediately she was more into like a flight or panic scenario. Fight or flight. She didn't know what to do. Because she was kind of, 3 dudes kind of restraining her, so yeah. And then out of nowhere, this blur, this reddish, goldenish, bluish blur just zoomed. The eyes were white, as in the only thing you can see were anger. As you know, Midoriya would have woken up. Where am I? As you know, he would look at Jiro and wonder what happened. Jiro explained that she didn't know. All she knew is that he came in saving, came in swinging. Something was weird though, as if his body was at a autopilot mode. Because after he finished with the thugs, he kind of stayed still and shut down, fainting to the ground. Of course, though, Jiro and everyone else only saw kindness within Midoriya. They never saw this hatred or rage. Of course, though, something was different about Midoriya, though. You'll be the 2nd month. And Jiro and him started to train. Extremely. Or at least Deku did. He would train to the point where his body would be broken and then rebuilt over and over again. He doesn't know why he was doing this, but he kept on doing it. As every time his body was rebuilt, it became stronger. As in by then, he was able to, with a punch, send out airwaves. Or air shocks. Just shockwaves in general. Even if they're minor shockwaves, they're still shockwaves of some kind of sort. And by the end of the month, by the, 8th month, Midoriya started changing. And everyone knew it. Midoriya became more quiet and silent. And they also felt this heavy burden on his chest. Or just a heavy aura that he was angry at something, but he didn't know what it was. As by the time they, all 3 of them tried to check up on his house. As you know, he moved on to an apartment when his mother died. As when they moved and, looked at his apartment, they noticed that the door was locked. Inevitably, they did hear footsteps, but they were a bit heavier, since, usually they weren't able to, hear Midoriya's footsteps due to how short he was. As inevitably, my head. Who's there? Wait up. As he would open the door, and everyone would have shock expressions on their faces. What the? Midoriya, is that you? Why are you yelling? As they would be confused. Of course, first, they would say, "Are you a sibling of Midoriya's?" No, I don't have siblings. I'm Midoriya. What do you mean? As they would have shocked expressions on their faces, being confused, but at the same time, wow, being impressed. Midoriya, have you looked yourself in the mirror lately? No, why? As Midoriya would, be in front of a mirror and look at what happened. As he would, inevitably have evolved in some sort of height standard. His training giving him compressed and just lean muscles for a quick and easy fight. Quick and easy muscle factor. And at the same time, his eyes were just pure, just slit-like. And like a brown reddish color. And at the same time, there's spikes towards his feet, towards his hands. Due to his size and, other things, he wasn't able to have normal clothing. He had to get, actually, he probably didn't wear clothing, since, he kind of already had that jacket and, the clothes. So, yeah. So, he would probably have pants or something, like some type of fighting pants or something. Like, what was it? Training gear pants. Yeah, I'll say he has, like, training, like, very saggy pants. And then have, what you see on the screen, have, like, a muscle shirt or something. But it'll be customized for, like, his body, though. It'll be customized clothing. He would also have shoes, though. The shoes will also be customized due to the spikes that would be on his feet. So, I see you're here. Would he even wear feet? No, I don't feel like he would wear shoes. Or at least his shoes would, have holes in them. Yeah, I'll say the only thing that wasn't customized with his shoes, because, how are you gonna put on shoes if, your feet look like that, my guy? You got spikes, so yeah. Midoriya would, kind of answer some questions. And inevitably just answer them honestly. He doesn't know how he became taller. He was so focused on training, he forgot about everything. He kind of, at that point, he kind of forgot about everyone for a bit. Training as hard as he could. As, he had to take a shower. As, he went to the bathroom. Just, he, put some crumpets or, something, some snacks on the table for, the three of them to eat. As, he would just, walk into the shower a bit, get dressed. And everyone, he would forget to put on his shirt on. And everyone would just see the amount of muscle Midoriya has. Unlike normal people, you would see physically that these muscles are compressed to, like, the absolute limit. Like, these muscles were trained, like, professionally trained. Yes, they were, they fitted his body, but they were very physically big. Or not physically big, but they were, they looked like they can cut, simplest way to put it, crafted by the North gods, practically. As if they were cut by the North gods themselves. The muscle on Midoriya was just insanely just amazing. As you know, Ojiro like, hey man, you been training without me? As you know, Jiro would have a slight blush on her face. Sorry. Sorry about that. It's hard to find shirts in my size. Not just that, but I usually have to customize my shirts realistically. So I kind of forget wearing shirts sometimes. As Midoriya would have inevitably, you know, grown this fur on him. You know, the giant, you know, cloak he has. As you see how all, you know, Lucarios have the quirk. I mean, cloak. Practically, that's practically what you would have. Anyways, yeah, UA, I do believe you all did text me about it, earlier. I believe maybe a couple hours ago, maybe. I think 3 days ago, a week ago, about that. I guess, I mean, do I really have to? I mean, you all know how I feel about the society. But, due to your efforts on wanting me to become a hero, I did decide to go. I will decide to go. As you know, they all smile. Hopefully we can all be in the same classroom. As you know, everyone would just, you know, kind of walk to UA. UA would be a bit far, but not that far. So like a decent walk. I'll say maybe like 3 miles about. Not that far. Like, yes, for a normal person it's pretty, you know, big walk, but, you know, for people like this, it's pretty decent. So I mean, yeah. Either that or just like a mile walk, like a 2-mile walk. So yeah. No, that'd be too long. So I'll just say like a mile. Yeah, I'll say like a mile away. Come on. Yeah. As you know, Midoriya would have his jacket on. The one that his mother made before, you know, she died. So, yeah. Midoriya would kind of be set. What I mean by that is that he has everyone, you know, he has as friends. And inevitably, they will notice though some personality changes. Especially when it came to fighting, they would notice that they now realize that, wait, hold on, his mouth isn't moving. As you know, inevitably they will find out that, you know, this entire time, instead of, you know, physically talking to them, he's been using telepathy. He himself has not noticed at all. He kind of used it at, you know, by the age of like 5. So yeah, he kind of never really learned how to talk. More like telepathy talk. I mean, the only time he actually opened his mouth was probably like, you know, either, you know, whispering, training, or just other things. Realistically, like normal things you use your mouth for, practically. As you know, they would go to UA. Okay, let's go. As, you know, Shoji would say, come on everyone, let's go, we got this. As you know, they'll all be pumped up. Okay, let's go. As you know, he would say, they would be walking into the, you know, the exam. As you know, Midoriya would feel some sort of familiarity in the aura, in the air. he would feel some sort of tension, you would say. As he would look at the bench and he would notice that Bakugo Katsuki is here, he would instantly just ignore Katsuki. Katsuki wouldn't remember what he would look like because he left, a decent way near middle school, so, yeah. After high school, Katsuki kind of got, no one was able to filter him out, so he kind of, yeah. As you know, inevitably, the entrance exam would happen. Okay, everyone, there are the first pointers, 2 pointers, and 3 pointers. It says in the name. For 1 pointers, you get 1 point. For 2 pointers, you get 1 point. 2 points. For 3 pointers, you get 3 points. For the 0 pointer is, as you know, Ito would interrupt. As instantly, Midori would be like, God, I just wanted this done for, bruh. As inevitably, President Mike would continue. And the 0 pointer. The 0 pointer is more of an obstacle, so don't try to attack it. Nor just run away from it. As you know, the entrance exam would begin. At least the fighting portion, so yeah. Midori would be getting points left and right. And due to the speed he's using it would kind of tear up his shirt. Or, clothes in general. Since, he doesn't really need clothes, but yeah, it is what it is. He never really liked clothes. That was kind of forced upon him by Inko. And he kind of got used to it wearing clothes, but, yeah. He wouldn't notice if they're on or off, realistically. As inevitably, he would, be looking like this. Or the shiny version, at least. Okay, let's get this over with. As you know, everyone will feel the temperature in the air start warming up. Or being damp. As the air, wind, mist would be going towards Zuko. As you know, he would have his stance in more of a plasma ball way. Or, he puts his hands together. As you know, start releasing it towards the 0 pointers. Or more of a lines, using it as, for that probably wouldn't work. I'll say he'll make small versions of it. Just little versions, because I'm pretty sure if it was the real deal, if we have the Pokemon Nabity, realistically, to the My Hero world, I'm pretty sure the Plasma Ball would probably destroy a decent portion of, everything. So, yeah. As inevitably, the 0 pointer comes up. As Lucario would be like, I'm gonna be going now. As he hears a voice. Help, help. Fine. As he would do Iron Punch on the rock. And inevitably, the 0 pointer would be right on top of them. As goldenish aura and reddish aura would start forming around him. As he starts yelling more and more, inevitably, something would form in his hand, slowly but surely. In a couple of seconds, about in the time span of a minute, something would be in Midoriya's hand, and it would be phenomenal. The amount of energy that will be put inside of this blast will be enough to destroy a mountain. As soon as he released it, within minutes, or within a minute and a couple seconds, he released it to the zero pointer. And when I mean the zero pointer was destroyed, it was just destroyed. After being hit with this attack, the zero pointer would start blowing up. And due to area damage, there would be no area damage. It would more of a line just be static shock everywhere, or hints of electricity everywhere, almost like a Chidori. But literally, if you need, if you create a plasma ball, there's guaranteed to be some type of electricity, and then outside of it, and then within it, plasma. He would release the plasma ball. The entry exam has stopped. You will get your results in 2 weeks. As that is where I will end this video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.